It's Sunday. Yes, it's Sunday. Yes, it's not Friday night, it's Sunday night. I could lie to you. I could say that I was off saving the world from alien invaders or from packs of wild Atlantean Hoover sharks. But I won't lie to you. I had a Magic the Gathering game on Friday night. I thought I was going to be able to get back in time to do the Friday night review show, and I didn't. So I thought I would do it on Saturday instead. Yes, great idea, Saturday. Unfortunately, with these old bones of mine, I ended up falling asleep on the sofa. So now you have got the Sunday night review show, but it's not all bad because, quite frankly, there wasn't anything to tell you. There wasn't any news at all to tell you about in comic books this week. It was quite a quiet week. Probably the biggest news, which I'm sure everybody knows now in any case, and if you're interested, I'll let you know, is that J.J. Abraham is going to be directing the 7th Star Wars movie. Yes. Whether that's going to be a good thing or not, I don't know. I personally enjoyed his take on Star Trek. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who's going to make jokes on lens flare and that, but even he himself said that he used it too much, and hopefully he won't be using it again this new one. What do you think? Do you think that he's going to do the Star Wars franchise any good? Do you think he's going to make it better? I can't really see them doing a reboot of the Star Wars franchise. I think there'd probably be lynchings and that. I can see Mickey Mouse getting hung from the street lamps and that if that happened. But then who knows? It might happen. They might happen. They might reboot it like they did with the Star Trek universe. I personally can't see them doing that because there's not really been that much gap between the last Star Wars movie and the new Star Wars movie. Not as much as there was between the last Star Trek film and the first of the new Star Trek films that J.J. Abrams done. As far as his body of work has gone, it's not been too bad. He co-wrote and co-produced and directed Lost, which it was okay until the end when everybody said, "Wow, guessed rightly, I think, in the very first episode." And then when it turned out it was that, having to watch 7 series of it was a bit daunting. But yeah, he also did Alias as well, which was a fantastic series. I really enjoyed it personally. So I think it's one of those things we're going to have to hopefully sit down and wait and see what happens, and then if he doesn't do it right, then we can lynch him. All I can say is I am just really, really happy that they didn't use Joel Schumacher, because that guy's still in hiding, from what I understand, from Batman and Robin movie. Yeah, there's not much other news really that I can tell you. The only thing I can say is with comic books, one thing that I forgot to mention last week's episode was that excuse the noise, that's one of my rats moving. She's decided to move house, change their house a bit around. Something was in the way, obviously, so she decided to make some noise at a very inopportune moment. Thank you, Ivy. Thank you. Anyway, yes, comics. The only thing I can think of to say, something I was supposed to say last week, and I forgot to do it, was that the DC Comics are releasing Detective Comics 19 in April with a $7.99 cover price and $8.99 cover price if you're lucky enough to want to get the combo pack. All of this is because they are celebrating, not changing the number of, but celebrating 900 issues of Detective Comics. Now, surely if they are celebrating the 900th issue of Detective Comics, they should renumber Detective Comics 19 to Detective Comics 900. Either that, or because otherwise it's just going to be the case of you're paying $7, $8, $9 for a comic that isn't really anything. Quite frankly, it's Detective Comics number 19. That would be like Superior Spider-Man number 19 if it gets that far. Them charging you $8 because, you know, it's the 719th issue of Amazing Spider-Man, even though it's not. You know, should DC Comics renumber Detective Comics to number 900? Should they be charging people set $8 and $9 for a comic that really isn't anything really, or should, you know, should people just be happy that they're even acknowledging the old numbering system? If you've got any comments on this, comment section down below. I'd be lovely to hear from you. Comic review. I actually have some comics to review. Yes, the snow did stop the comics from coming, but then the snow went, and the postman managed to get through, and the comics come through as well. Well, 4 of them anyway. 2 of them were from last week, was Wednesday. 2 of them from actually the Wednesday just gone. Brilliant. So what I shall do is I shall review the 2 from the oldest 2 from the last week Wednesday. First up, we have Savage Wolverine number 1 from the new Marvel Now Rejig Rethink series by Frank Choi. Now, I love Frank Choi's artwork. I think his artwork is absolutely fantastic. It's clear, it's crisp. He knows how to draw women. Okay, he doesn't draw them. I think Frank Choi, to a certain extent, is one of those artists that actually draws women relatively normal looking in the context of a comic book. You know, there is still some obviously fantasy thing about the women that he draws, and that it would be, but they look more normal than some of the wasp thin, exceptionally large boobs. No, oh no, sorry, that's just Rob Liefeld that draws them like that, isn't it? Sorry. Yeah, but no, anyway, I digest. Frank Choi, fantastic artist. In here, he's doing exactly what he does best, which is drawing Shana the She-Devil. And as far as the story goes, not really into it personally. I'll give you a quick recap of a quick shinoo of what's going on with the story. Shana the She-Devil is in a shield helicarrier. They're in the Savage Land. They go to an island where the local tribes say don't go anywhere near it because it's cursed, and anybody who goes there doesn't come back ever. They get to it. Excuse me. The helicarrier starts having all kinds of malfunctions, and they crash. What appears to be a few months or maybe in a few years later, Wolverine miraculously appears on this very island. We have no idea how he got there, why he's there. He just appears. Even Wolverine don't know how he got there. He just appears in a flash of light and immediately gets attacked by velociraptors and Neanderthal warriors, and even gets attacked by Shana herself. By accident, obviously. She thinks he's one of the Neanderthals, which, you know, he's quite small, so it wouldn't surprise me. Eventually, Shana and Wolverine... Well, Shana gives Wolverine up to date about what's happened, and then they get attacked by talking pterodactyls, who grab hold of Wolverine, fly him up to the air, and, of course, what would you do if you were Wolverine? You'd use your claws to kill the only thing that's keeping you up in the air. As you would do. I don't know whether it's Frank Choi's writing or whether it's the fact that it's a Wolverine comic, but it just didn't gel with me. I've never really been a big Wolverine fan. I've got a few of his comics, and the ones I've got I've enjoyed reading, but he's just never been one of those characters that has clicked with me, and it's possibly the reason why this story hasn't really clicked. I will probably get issue 2, mainly because of Choi's artwork, but also because I wanna hopefully be able to, you know, see if I can actually enjoy a Wolverine story and actually enjoy it. Yeah, other than that, honestly, the only reason why I'm getting this is because of Choi's artwork. So there's that. There you go. I'll put it next to the bonsai. No idea where that come from. Yeah. All right. Next up, from Dark Horse, The Black Beetle, #1, 4-issue miniseries by Francesco Francavilla. Sorry, you know I'm bad with names. Francesco Francavilla. Sorry, Francesco Francavilla. Issue 1 of a 4-issue miniseries. This is, what can I say? It's pulpy. It's definitely, if you like your pulp superheroes, like the Shadow, the Green Hornet, the Spider. I'm trying to think of other pulp heroes. There's loads of them. But if you like those pulp superheroes from the 1920s, 1930s, and that, you will love this. We start off with the titled hero, the Black Beetle. He's trying to bring down a massive mob enforced crime syndicate that is meeting up in this building. Just as he's about to break them up, the building explodes, knocking the Black Beetle for 6, almost killing him, in fact. This really cheeses off the Black Beetle. He wants to know who's killing off all these mob bosses and all these criminal cartel in his city, because he doesn't want to kill them. He wants them to be brought to justice. He gets to, I suppose you could only call it like an Alcatraz prison, right out in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by rocks and all sorts of nastiness and that, to speak to one of the mob bosses that is actually in prison. Just as he's about to get the information out of him, a mysterious figure dressed as a prison guard comes in and kills the mob boss. The Black Beetle chases the mysterious figure, only to be stopped by the prison guards thinking that he is the one that killed the mob boss, as the assailant drives off in a boat. Is that right? Drives off in a boat? Do you drive off in a boat? I suppose you do. Yeah. Sails off in a boat? He didn't sail because he had an engine. So, yeah. But anyway, again, I go off on a tangent. Yeah, it was action-packed. Absolutely fun read. I'll have to say it was a breath of fresh air to the usual capes and lycra that we usually read in the comic books at the moment. Not that there's anything wrong with all the the capes and the underpants and that, but you have to read something different every now and then, and this is definitely different. If you like pulp heroes like the Shadow, like Green Hornet over at Dynamite Comics, you will love this. It was really good, really interesting and fun story to read. Only problem I've got with it, and you'll know me because I'm not a cheapskate, but I don't really see why Dark Horse have given this a $3.99 cover price. That's the only thing that's letting this comic down. I think if they'd have made it a cheaper comic, like $2.99, more people would have probably picked it up, and more people will probably pick it up if it's a cheaper comic. But it's still, if you can find it, and you've got the change, still worth picking up for that. So definitely worth a read. Right, 2 comics from this week. Oh yes, I will say now there is going to be a spoiler alert on this one. On the next one as well? Nope, on this one only. So I shall hold it up. It is FF #3. Now, if you've been reading Fantastic Four and you've been reading FF, you'll know that the Fantastic Four have gone off into the multiverse, or into the Megaverse, or whatever it was that they called it. I can't remember what it was. But they've gone off into space to find a cure for Reed Richards and possibly the other Fantastic Four's illness. Reed Richards has got this strange disease that is attacking his body, possibly because of the cosmic rays and other radioactive and elemental things that has attacked him and his compadres over the decades of them being the Fantastic Four. So Reed Richards has chosen 4 people to take over for the Fantastic Four for 4 minutes on Earth, because that's how long Reed Richards says it's going to take them. If they're going to be gone for a year or so, to everyone on Earth, it's going to supposedly feel like 4 minutes. The new Fantastic Four, comprising of Ant-Man, She-Hulk, Medusa from the Inhumans, and one of Johnny Storm's girlfriends in a Thing robot suit, which was used many years ago in Fantastic Four comics, when there was this like possible cure for Ben Grimm for being the Thing, but it was one of those ones which turned him back to Ben Grimm at the most inopportune moments. So Reed Richards built him these Thing suits to help him fight with the Fantastic Four, help him fight with the Fantastic Four. So yeah, one of Johnny Storm's girlfriends is wearing one of these Thing suits. In the last issue, and this is a spoiler, so when you see me put this down, you know you can come back if you don't, if it's spoiled, if you haven't read this already. In the last issue, supposedly Johnny Storm come back from space wearing what you can see on the front cover here. This is supposed to be Johnny Storm. Nobody believes he's Johnny Storm. Everyone thinks it's some kind of weird, crazy thing. And it takes all of the machinery in the Baxter building and the Future Foundation building. Sorry, not the Baxter building, that's ages old. In the Future Foundation building. It takes all of the machinery in there, built by Reed Richards, and the, I suppose the almost sixth sense of what's his name, Lightfoot, the guy that was She-Hulk's boyfriend years ago when when John Bolton used to be, not John Bolton, when John Byron used to be the artist on Fantastic Four. Yeah, you know him. Yeah, I can't remember his name. You know I'm bad with names. Anyway, it takes him and all the machinery to prove that this is actually Johnny Storm, or at least as far as you know, is Johnny Storm. Why is he like this? Well, the Fantastic Four were attacked somewhere in the future by a creature which is the combined strength of Kang the Conqueror, Doctor Doom, and an Annihilus seed creature. They all got together, they all merged in form and attacked the Fantastic Four, destroying them all bar supposedly Johnny Storm. So, what does Ant-Man decide to do? The only thing he can think of to do is to stop Doctor Doom once and for all. To put every single bit of the Future Foundation's power into stopping Doctor Doom forever. Hopefully stopping this future version of the Fantastic Four, this future happening for the Fantastic Four, and saving them from this terrible death that they have to befall them. Okay, you can come back now. Okay, I've put it down. I am really enjoying this series. I don't read the Fantastic Four series. I read the first issue and it was okay, but you know, I've seen the Fantastic Four go off into space many times before. This, with Matt Fraction's writing and Mike Allred's artwork, is just pure gold for me. I love Mike Allred's artwork. I think I fell in love with his artwork when I first saw it in the Superman Madman Hullabalooza 3-issue miniseries, which was a crossover between DC Comics and Dark Horse Comics quite a few years ago now. I think it was late 90s, early 2000s, I think that was. And I just completely fell in love with his artwork. Sadly, I don't have many of his Madman comics yet, but I'm hoping to rectify that soon. But yeah, I know there are some people out there that have a problem with Matt Fraction's style of writing. I've not really had that much to do with it personally, but if this is what his usual writing is like, I wouldn't mind seeing what his other work was like. I believe he was writing for Thor, was it, and for Iron Man. So I don't know. I'll see how this goes and see how this takes me for the rest of Matt Fraction's writing on it and that. But Yeah, and I might pick up some of his old stuff. But this, to me, has just been absolutely brilliant. One of those comics that I've been looking forward to picking up every time, month after month. And as well as that, it's not one of those ones that they're bringing out every other week, which is great. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think bringing out a comic every other week in a monthly in a month is, it can be a bit too much. Yeah, I don't know why Marvel have chosen some of their comics to be fortnightly comics. Really, obviously to get more money out of people. Yeah, but other than that, I don't know why they're bringing out. I think Deadpool's a fortnightly comic, or twice monthly comic, if you want to call it that. The New Avengers, no, New Avengers is a monthly comic. It's the Avengers comic is a fortnightly comic, and there's other ones as well that are fortnightly comics. This is only once a month, but it is one of those comics that you wish it was fortnightly. Yeah, definitely worth picking up. Finally, for comics to review, we have from Dark Horse, The Answer, #1. And this one, we have the Insomniac librarian, Devin McKenzie. She gets sent to her a mysterious puzzle box. When she solves it, she finds a piece of paper inside with a web address on it. She goes to the web address, and on that website, she finds loads and loads of other puzzles, each one more intricate and more difficult than the other one, than the previous one. But she manages to solve them all. She solves every single one of them. When she sits there and waits for an answer to what prize she's going to win from this website, in comes the answer, telling her, possibly in an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice, "If you want to live, come with me." Probably in a better Arnold Schwarzenegger voice than that. It doesn't say it literally, obviously, but you get the gist. As the answer's trying to persuade her to come with him, even, sorry, armed assailants come barging into the library and attack both of them. Why? We don't know. Who are these armed assailants? We don't know. We don't have the answer. But hopefully issue 2 has. Yes. Again, it's one of those series that it's a breath of fresh air. It is. It's okay. You've still got the guy in the spandex, who you don't know who he is, and he's a superhero, and he's come to save the damsel in distress, really. But it was such a fast pace and such an enjoyable read, and the artwork by Dennis Hopeless. It's done by Mike Norton and Dennis Hopeless. The artwork by Dennis Hopeless. It's just brilliant. I actually saw the cover, and I thought it was a Brian Boland cover. When I first saw the cover, I actually thought it was a Brian Boland cover. It's not. It's actually done by Dennis Hopeless. And yeah, it was just a fun story to read, and I think that's what you want in comic books. It wasn't that dark. It wasn't that gritty. Okay, the titular hero gets shot supposedly in the face by the assailants, but no problem with that, because, well, I won't want to spoil you with it at the end, but if you want to find out what happens in the end, you really need to get it. But it was a really good read. A really yeah, it was fun read to read. Fun comic to read. Sorry, again, the only problem I have with it is the cover price. $3.99 for the comic. It's a 4-issue miniseries. Possibly might be worth picking it up in trade if it comes up in trade. But if you do have the spare cash on you, then definitely worth picking up. So there you go. There's the 4 comics for me to review. And as I've said as well at the end of these videos, I'm going to just give you a little bit of an idea of some comics or some characters that you might not know about, or you might have heard of but you might not have thought about picking up. Last week I said about the miniseries from Image Comics called Bedlam. This week is a character that's close to my heart because it comes from a British comic, a British weekly comic. He started his life in the very short-lived weekly sci-fi series Star-Lord, which was only, what was it? It only made about 24, 25 comics, I think there was, of Star-Lord, plus a couple of summer specials and that, and a couple of annuals. I've actually got a Star-Lord annual here from 1982. So there you go. It didn't last very long. It merged with the Galaxy's greatest comic, really. There's only one way you can call it that, 2000 AD. This character went along to 2000 AD with the merger, and ever since he's just gone from strength to strength. He's just recently, in the weekly 2000 AD comics, been resurrected from the dead. I am talking about Strontium Dog. Johnny Alpha, the Search Destroy agent, also known as Strontium Dogs. He's a bounty hunter who is a mutant with superpowers. It's set in the future. Many years ago, many years in the future, there are nuclear wars, chemical wars, world pollution from big business and everything, and it causes mass mutations in certain people. Some of these mutants go on to become search destroy agents because it's the only job they can get. These search destroy agents are nicknamed Strontium Dogs because one of the main mutagens that have caused these people to mutate into sometimes grotesque, sometimes peculiar and weird. Other times their mutations are quite subtle. The main mutagen has been strontium 90 from the fallout of the many nuclear wars and nuclear bombs that have gone out over the British Isles in this future. Johnny Alpha is one of the best known strontium dogs out there. He is one of the most prolific strontium dogs out there. If you want somebody found and you've got the money for it, you get Johnny Alpha to get them. This is the first volume of Strontium Dogs. It reprints, and I'm going to have to look into this, what it reprints, because it reprints a lot of comics. Let's have a look. It reprints Star-Lord issues 1 to 10, 15 to 19, 21 to 22. Also, Star-Lord Summer Special and Annual from 1980 to 1982, plus 2000 AD. I have to use my glasses for this. There's a lot of stories in this book. You can see how big it is. Let's have a look. 2000 AD issues 86 to 94, 104 to 118, and 178 to 191. This tome has got a lot of Strontium Dog action in it. It starts off with the first couple of stories that were in the Star-Lord comic, and then when it goes on to later on stories, they're the ones that are in the 2000 AD weekly comics. It was just an absolutely phenomenal series. It is one of the best comics, one of the best comic strips in 2000 AD. He is definitely up there with characters like Judge Dredd, Rogue Trooper, and the likes. I can't understand why. This would make a perfect movie. This would make a really good movie if the Judge Dredd movie, the new Judge Dredd movie, does as well all around the world as I think it's doing. Then I really hope that Rebel Productions come out with a Strontium Dog movie. That would be fantastic. I'm not quite sure if you can pick this up in America. I'd imagine you would be able to. In the UK, it's £13.99, so might be a bit pricey in America and Canada. Probably be around about, what, 13, 14, it's probably around about $30. $30 in America. Not quite sure what the exchange rate is in Canada, but you might be able to pick it up cheap on eBay. If you can, it's definitely worth picking up, because this is one of the best sci-fi series from the 70s and 80s in British weeklies that you'll ever find. One of the finest sets of stories from 2000 AD you'll ever read. Artwork in it by Carlos Esquarez, and you've got John Wagner and Alan Grant on the writing as well. There's other artists in there as well. You've got Ian Gibson, Brendan McCarthy, and Keith Page as well as Carlos Esquarez. But Esquarez is one of the better known artists for Strontium Dog. Yeah, I've read this and read this and read this over and over again. I just love it. There's even, yeah, it even has the Johnny Alpha going back in time and picking up Adolf Hitler for crimes against humanity in the future. Seriously, you've got. I'll show you the pictures actually, if I can find it again. Let's have a quick look if I can quickly find it before time runs out. Oh, come on, I saw him a minute ago. I know he's that, but he's in there. Honestly, I promise you, Adolf Hitler is in here somewhere. So yeah, if you haven't read Strontium Dog, I seriously recommend seeing if you can pick this up, because it is definitely worth picking up, without a doubt. So there you go. That was the Sunday night review comic show. Yes. Again, I can't apologise more about not doing it on Friday. You know, I hopefully I will get my Patuka into gear and do it this Friday. This Saturday night, hopefully it won't clash with the Comic Talk podcast that goes out, as far as I know, on Friday night. So I hope it won't clash with that, because Saturday I'm going out to a festival. It's the Lamas festival I'm going to on Saturday night. Hopefully I will be doing a live unbagging on Saturday night. It will be late. It'll probably be around about 11, 12 o'clock at night. So, but I'll be doing that live on Google Hangouts if anybody wants to join me on that. I will leave you now, because I'm starting to run out of things to say. I will leave you now. I hope that wasn't too much of a complete mess. I could hear myself stuttering and garbling on about stuff. So hopefully it wasn't too much of a pain to watch. With any luck, next Friday's one will be a lot better and a lot smoother. Thank you all for watching. Thank you everybody for commenting from the last video. If I haven't commented back to you, I'm sorry. It's not that I'm ignoring you. It's not that I don't want to comment back to you. It's just that it's been very busy here. If you've got any comments at all for this video, comment down below. If you like the video, thumbs it up. If you don't like the video, didn't like the comics, didn't like anything, and you feel that you need to thumbs it down, fine, thumbs it down. I have no problem with you thumbs it down. But if you thumbs it down, say why you thumbs it down. Otherwise, I'll set the rats and the ferrets on you. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Take care. Love the comics you read. And ta-ta for now. Bye bye.